What you're about to hear might be the final straw that gets someone banned from the WNBA forever. And before we dive into what just happened to Sophie Cunningham, hit that subscribe button because this story is about to blow up across the league. Picture this. The Indiana Fever are already missing Caitlin Clark for over a month. They've lost Sydney Colson to a torn ACL, Ari McDonald's out with a broken foot. They're hanging on by a thread trying to make the playoffs. And then in walks Bria Hartley, who some are calling the dirtiest player in WNBA history. And what she does next has Sophie Cunningham's entire family calling for her head. Here's what nobody's talking about yet. This wasn't just any regular collision. When you see the pattern of what Hartley's been doing all season, when you connect the dots from Angel Reese's ponytail, getting yanked to Skylar Diggins getting body checked to Rebecca Allen getting scratched and bloodied, you start to realize something shocking. This might have been intentional all along. Let me paint you the picture of what went down on August 17th in Connecticut. Second quarter, the Sun are up, feeling good about themselves. Sophie Cunningham slides over to help on defense, doing exactly what she's supposed to do. Bria Hartley drives to the basket, throws a pass that gets picked off by Lexi Hull. And then instead of just falling naturally to her left, where the contact was pushing her, Hartley somehow manages to contort her body and dive straight forward, shoulder first, directly into Sophie's right knee. The sound Sophie made when she hit the floor sent chills through the entire arena. Coach Stephanie White's first words? She couldn't even say them on live TV. Sophie's writhing in pain, kicking and screaming, and you know what's crazy? Connecticut Sun players and training staff were the first ones to check on her. Even they knew something was seriously wrong. But here's where it gets darker. Watch the replay closely. Hartley's getting bumped from the right side by Kelsey Mitchell. Physics says she should fall left. Her body even starts going that way, but suddenly, like she's got eyes in the back of her head, she drops her shoulder and launches herself forward right into Sophie's legs. Former players watching the broadcast immediately called it out. This looked targeted. Now, if this was an isolated incident, maybe we give Hartley the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's just unfortunate timing. But hold up, because what I'm about to tell you changes everything. Rewind to June 15th, 2025. Chicago Sky versus Connecticut Sun. Angel Reese is battling for a rebound when suddenly Bria Hartley doesn't just foul her. She literally grabs Angel's ponytail with her left hand, wraps it around her fingers for better grip, and yanks it while going for the ball with her right hand. Angel nearly threw hands right there on the court. The ref somehow only called it a common foul, not even a flagrant, even though everyone watching could see clear as day what happened. But wait, it gets worse. Fast forward to July. Hartley's matched up against Skylar Diggins. 3 Connecticut players are already back on defense. They have the numbers advantage. What does Hartley do? Instead of getting into defensive position like any normal player would, she runs full speed and body checks Skylar like this is hockey, not basketball. No play on the ball, just straight up trucking her. Then there's the Rebecca Allen incident. This one's brutal. Hartley doesn't just foul her, she trips her, gets her to the ground, and then starts clawing at her. Rebecca Allen ended up with visible scratch marks and blood. And Hartley? She stood over her, pulling up her shorts like she wanted to fight, acting tough after literally drawing blood from another player. Sophie Cunningham's sister Lindsay wasn't having any of it. She went nuclear on social media, and I'm reading this exactly as she wrote it. Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie. But Sophie's mom, Paula, she went even harder before deleting her post. She called Hartley a disgruntled player, having trouble everywhere she goes, playing mean and out of control. She said Hartley knew exactly what she was doing. The family's basically saying what everyone's thinking, but nobody in the league wants to admit. This player is dangerous. Here's what makes this even more insane. Sophie Cunningham was having the best stretch of her career. Since the All-Star break, she was averaging 12.2 points, shooting 55% from the field, and an absolutely insane 52.8% from 3. She'd become the Fever's secret weapon while Caitlin Clark's been out. Her plus-minus numbers were second only to Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. She wasn't just playing well, she was carrying this injured team. And get this, the Fever actually won the game. After Sophie went down, trailing by 21 points at one point, they mounted the biggest comeback in franchise history. Kelsey Mitchell went absolutely nuclear with 38 points. 34 of them after halftime. It's like the team was playing for Sophie, playing angry, playing with purpose. They weren't going to let Hartley's actions define their season. But here's the part that should scare every WNBA fan. The league's response? Complete silence. No review of the play during the game, no statement after, no suspension announcement, nothing. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham was fined twice this season just for criticizing officiating on TikTok and her podcast. So let me get this straight. You can literally injure players, pull hair, body check, and scratch people until they bleed, but heaven forbid you question a referee's call. The MRI results from Monday, August 18th, showed no severe structural damage, which is a miracle considering how bad it looked. But sources close to the team are saying it still doesn't look good for her return timeline. And here's what nobody's connecting yet. Sophie was one of the only guards left healthy on this roster. With Caitlin Clark already out for over a month with her groin injury, Sydney Colson done for the year with an ACL tear, and Ari McDonald out with a broken foot, the Fever are literally running out of players. Think about this for a second. The Fever are 19-16, sitting in 7th place, trying desperately to make a playoff push in what should be their breakthrough season. They've got Caitlin Clark, the biggest star in women's basketball, who's played only 13 games all season because of injuries. They finally get some momentum with Sophie Cunningham stepping up huge, and then this happens. You want to know what's really messed up? Connecticut Sun fans are even calling for Hartley to be kicked out. Their own fans. I've seen comments from Sun season ticket holders saying they're embarrassed to have her on their team. One fan wrote, and I quote, "Clearly an athlete who actively attempts to hurt other athletes. Sun coach, what's going on?" Another said, "How many more players does Bria Hartley have to injure to be kicked out of the league?" The pattern is undeniable at this point. This isn't just physical play or being aggressive. This is a player who seems to target opponents when things aren't going her way. And the worst part? She's 32 years old. This isn't some rookie who doesn't know better. She's been in this league long enough to know exactly what she's doing. Now, I need to address something important. Some people are trying to defend Hartley, saying it was just an accident, saying we're overreacting. To those people, I have one question. How many accidents can one player have before we stop calling them accidents? How many players need to get hurt before we acknowledge there's a problem? What makes this even more frustrating is that Sophie Cunningham has been nothing but class throughout her career. She's the player who stands up for her teammates, especially Caitlin Clark. She's been vocal about supporting the growth of the women's game. She brings energy and joy to every game she plays. And now she's lying on the court in agony because someone couldn't control themselves. The video evidence is damning. Multiple angles show Hartley's unnatural fall pattern. Biomechanics experts on social media are breaking down frame by frame how there's no way that fall happens naturally given where the contact was coming from. The physics literally don't add up unless it was intentional. Here's something else that's interesting. Remember earlier this season when Sophie got into it with the Connecticut Sun? She was fined for standing up for Caitlin Clark when the Sun were playing dirty. There's history here. And isn't it convenient that the one player who's been calling out Connecticut's dirty play all season suddenly gets taken out by a Connecticut player? The Fever organization hasn't made an official statement beyond the injury update, but sources inside the team are saying players are furious. They're tired of seeing their teammates get hurt. They're tired of the league not protecting them. They're tired of playing against teams that seem more interested in hurting players than actually playing basketball. What's crazy is that this could affect the entire playoff race. The Fever are hanging on to that 7th seed by just 2.5 games over the Los Angeles Sparks. Every game matters now. And they're trying to compete with teams like the Minnesota Lynx, New York Liberty, and Seattle Storm, who all got stronger at the trade deadline while the Fever keep losing players to injury. But here's the thing that really gets me. The WNBA keeps talking about growing the game, attracting new fans, becoming must-watch TV. You know what doesn't grow the game? Letting players get away with dirty plays that injure stars. You know what turns fans off? Seeing their favorite players get hurt because the league won't crack down on dangerous play. Sophie Cunningham brings something special to this league. She's got personality, she can shoot the lights out, and she's not afraid to speak her mind. She's exactly the type of player the WNBA should be protecting and promoting. Instead, she's potentially missing crucial games because someone decided to use her knee as a landing pad. The double standard is insane. Players get fined for saying refs missed a call, they get fined for posting on social media about officiating. Sophie herself got hit with 2 fines just for expressing opinions. But actually hurting players? Apparently that's fine. Pull someone's hair, common foul, body check someone, play on. Dive into someone's knee? No review necessary. I've been covering this league for years, and I've never seen anything like the pattern we're seeing with Bria Hartley. This isn't tough play. This isn't old school basketball. This is dangerous, reckless behavior that has no place in professional sports. And the fact that it keeps happening with no real consequences is a joke. You want to know how bad this is? Other players around the league are starting to speak up privately. They're saying they don't feel safe playing against certain players. They're worried about their careers being ended by someone who can't control their emotions. That's not competition. That's a workplace safety issue. The timing couldn't be worse for Indiana. They were just starting to figure things out without Caitlin Clark. They'd won 5 straight before their recent slide. Sophie was a huge part of that success. She was providing the shooting they desperately needed, the energy, the leadership, and now they're back to square one. What's really interesting is looking at Hartley's career trajectory. She's bounced around teams, never really finding a permanent home. Now we might be seeing why. If you're consistently involved in controversial plays, if teammates and opponents alike have issues with how you play, maybe the problem isn't everyone else. The league needs to step up here. This isn't about being soft or changing the game. This is about player safety. When someone shows you who they are repeatedly, believe them. Hartley has shown us she's willing to hurt players to make a point, or when she's frustrated. That should be unacceptable at any level of basketball, let alone the professional level. Sophie's recovery timeline is still unclear, but every game she misses hurts the Fever's playoff chances. They're already trying to survive without their franchise player in Caitlin Clark. Now they're without their best shooter and one of their emotional leaders. How much more can one team take? The fan reaction has been overwhelming. Fever fans are calling for justice. Neutral fans are disgusted by what they saw. Even Connecticut fans are embarrassed. When you've united 3 different fan bases against you, you know you've crossed a line. The question is whether the WNBA will actually do something about it. Here's my prediction, and mark my words on this. If the league doesn't act, if they don't suspend Hartley or at least put her on notice, we're going to see more of this. Other players will see that you can get away with it. The game will get dirtier, more dangerous. Stars will get hurt. Fans will tune out. Is that really what the WNBA wants? Sophie Cunningham deserves better. The Indiana Fever deserve better. The fans deserve better. Most importantly, the game deserves better. This isn't just about one play or one player. This is about what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. Do they want to be known for great basketball or for allowing dirty players to run wild? Look, I get it. Basketball is a physical game. Contact happens. But there's a difference between playing hard and playing dirty. There's a difference between competing and trying to hurt someone. And Bria Hartley has crossed that line so many times, she probably doesn't even know where it is anymore. The Fever showed incredible heart, coming back to win that game. Kelsey Mitchell's performance was legendary. Aaliyah Boston dominated inside. They proved they're fighters, but they shouldn't have to fight against both their opponents and dirty plays. They should be able to focus on basketball. As we wait for more updates on Sophie's condition, one thing is clear. This incident has exposed a serious problem in the WNBA. The league talks a big game about protecting players, about growing the sport, about being progressive, but when it comes to actually protecting players from dangerous play, they're failing miserably. The ball is in the WNBA's court now. They can either take action and show they're serious about player safety, or they can continue to let players like Bria Hartley operate with impunity. The choice they make will say a lot about where this league is headed. For Sophie Cunningham, for the Indiana Fever, and for fans everywhere, we're hoping for a swift recovery and some actual accountability. Because if this doesn't warrant action from the league, what does? How many more players need to get hurt before enough is enough? Thanks for watching, and if you think the WNBA needs to take action on this, hit that like button and let them know we're paying attention. Subscribe for more updates on this developing story, and let's hope Sophie comes back stronger than ever. The Fever need her, and honestly, the league needs players like her who bring passion and excitement to the game. Peace out, and remember, some things are bigger than basketball.